So, through hiker tip, I guess number 2, because remember from the first episode, or second episode, going to Neil Gap, through hiker tip number 1 was listen to your body and take care of small problems while they're small problems before they become bigger. So we'll keep that as number 1. Number 2, we'll talk about like how to pick out clothing. So rule number 1 with clothing, and this goes for literally everything that you have on a hike, is no cotton. No cotton, no cotton, no cotton, no cotton, no cotton. The only exception being is if you want to wear some cotton stuff to bed and you're not going to hike in it. The problem with cotton is that it's going to retain moisture and chafe and make you feel cold. And that's never good when you're hiking. Wool will wick moisture away, and it'll also keep you warm when it's wet. So wool is really great for, that's a nice view, for hiking. But then like synthetics are also excellent. Anything that you can get that is sweat wicking and cooling, that's the kind of thing that you want. Those items tend to dry really fast, and that's, especially on the AT, a huge advantage. So just with that general rule of no cotton, I'd say starting with the feet and working your way up. Since your feet are the most important part about hiking, I prefer the Injinji toe socks. I only wear 1 pair, and I usually get the mid-weight hiking. And that is not typical. I'd say that most people have a pair of Injinji liners, which are super thin and just cover your feet. And then they'll put like a darn tough or another sock over, like a wool sock over that to hike in. And that seems to work well for a lot of people. However, from my experience with running, I'm more comfortable with a different setup. And that's one of the other things I'd say, is that take what I'm saying as a starting point and adjust it to yourself, because everybody's body is different, and what works for me isn't going to work for everybody, but at least it's a place to start. The cotton rule works for everybody. Don't wear cotton. And the other thing is with shoes, it's the same thing. Like, I wear Ultra Superiors, which are there for trail runners, not actually hiking shoes, and they're super light and thin, and there's not a lot of sole between my foot and the ground, which I like because I feel connected to the ground. Again, that's kind of like a carryover from running, and so I like a little bit thinner shoe than most people. I'd say the Ultra Lone Peaks and Timps are pretty popular. The Hoka Speed Goats are pretty popular, and then Brooks Cascadias are always a favorite. And I see a lot of ex-military guys really like the Solomons. I think that's because they make the boots that they wear in the military. But that's a kind of an example of how everybody is different, and depending on your background will probably lead you to a different solution. One thing that I learned about shoes and socks is you want to make sure that you have a snug fit but not a tight fit. Blisters are caused by rubbing, and the number 1 way to prevent blisters is to keep your feet dry, because when your skin gets like stuck in one position and your foot's moving behind it, that is what's causing the blister. So if you like tighten down your shoes super tight or have too thick socks, what that's going to do is exacerbate that type of rub, which is just going to give you blisters. I had one of the worst experiences, and I just kept adding more layers into my boots, and unknowingly was making it worse and worse for myself. It took like 2 weeks to recover from one of my section hikes before I got doing throughs. So moving up the outfit, you've got your hiking pants or shorts. A lot of people like pants for sun protection and tick protection. I like shorts, and I just wear regular Ultra or Under Armour running shorts that are like the cool sweat wicking variety, and also their boxer briefs. I like the longer version because it helps with chafing. It kind of like creates that like what the Injinji liners do, creating that dry like surface around your skin so that when it rubs against the shorts you don't get a chafe. It just rubs against the fabric, not your skin. You also want to have like layers. I've got Under Armour thermal leggings and rain pants, and basically what that does is allows me to say how warm or cold I actually want to be. When I'm in camp, I'll put on the Under Armour leggings. It's usually enough, but when I put the rain pants over, it really amps up the heat retention, because it stops, it's like wind pants, it stops the wind from sucking all the heat away from my body, so it retains it better. And then moving on up, I guess, the next thing I've got is a fanny pack, and I like that better than the hip pockets on my pack, just because it's something that you can keep on after you take your pack off. So if you've got like snacks or something, or you're going to town and you've got your wallet and your cell phone in there, you don't have to like transfer it from your pack into your pockets. And then I like to wear a sun hoodie, something I picked up on the CDT, probably a little bit more than I need here on the AT, but I like the long sleeves. It's been fantastic in the cold weather. Putting the whole hood up and down has actually made a big difference in terms of staying warm, so I'm really enjoying that. I've got a merino wool base layer underneath it right now, and that's doing an amazing job keeping me a little bit extra warm while we're on this high ridge in the Smokies. And that's something that I'll take off as it gets a little bit warmer in the season. And then for layers above that, I've got my Melanzana microgrid hoodie, puffy jacket, and then my rain jacket. And again, with the same layering idea, is that you've got all those thermal layers that are retaining your body heat and keeping that hot air in. And then the outer layer, the rain jacket, is acting as a windbreak and preventing the wind from stealing all the body heat. And let's see, always have gloves with you. I also have a winter hat, a beanie, and I have what was I gonna say? Oh, so just a baseball hat for the sun and sunglasses. So that's basically like what my clothing is. And then I obviously have an extra pair of boxers for when I get into town and I'm ready to take a shower and get into some clean clothes. And then 7 pairs of Injinji, so that I'm always able to put on a fresh pair before the day's hike. Another way that's really helpful in preventing blisters and other issues with your feet, just making it easier to keep them dry with dry socks is key. A lot of people have like 2 pairs of liners and 2 pairs of socks, and they'll alternate them every other day, trying to dry out one pair on the back of their pack while they wear the others, and that has limited success. Usually the pair on the pack doesn't dry out, especially on this trail when there's so much humidity. Let's see, I'd say the only other thing that I would say, and this kind of goes for like a general, not even like a through hiking tip, but a hiking tip in general, and it's kind of like a thing that's worn, is a headlamp. Always carry a headlamp with you, no matter how short your hike is and how sure you are that you will not get caught out at night. It's amazing what can happen, and you never know how long you might get delayed. So having that is key, because even though you've got a flashlight on your cell phone, it's really nice to have your hands free while you're hiking at night, so that you can use your cell phone to maybe call for help or look at the map. Anyway, that is how I get ready for a through hike lesson 1, which I know started out as through hiker tip number 2, but it's more of like a strategic planning tip, I guess, than it really is like a hardened rule. So that's how I kind of pick out what I wear, is whatever is, you know, moisture wicking and quick drying and cooling as my standard like hiking outfit, and then layering underneath and above that thermal layers that are wool or synthetic to allow for adjustments in heat retention as the temperature changes. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions about why I've selected what I've selected. You know, color is obviously a personal choice. I don't think there's any real advantage to wearing one color over another, but I'd be very curious to see what you guys want to know about that I forgot, and any other questions that you might have about clothing and other wearables. I'll get into like trekking poles and pack and other kits in subsequent videos. But let me know what you guys have questions about in terms of clothing, and I would love to answer your queries. See you guys down the trail.